Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everybody. We're live. Woo! I wish I had some mic check, mic check. Okay, I think it's working. I wish I had some balloons, but what I do have is I have a beautiful balloon for my wife. She got this for me. Uh, I think it was for my last go live for something else, but either way, I feel blessed. I feel happy. I'm excited to see everyone who's joined. We seems like we have a few additional folks today, so welcome. Happy Sunday. Before we get started, I just wanted to pray over everyone who's watching this live stream today, just to thank the Lord for blessing us with a new day, a new week that's about to start. We give you all the glory, Lord, including the glory for this victorious launch of MyPraise App 1.0. We pray that everyone has a blessed week, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for all of us in this new week. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. So today, today we're going to talk about a few things. Um, we'll definitely try to do some coding, but I think as the app has launched, it's right now just in a good spot where we're looking to stabilize and focus on marketing. So a lot of what we'll be doing today is doing a few of the day one fixes, some of the issues that are that I've seen that we've already fixed, but haven't been pushed to the live version yet. And then we'll also look at our storyboard for a launch trailer that we're going to record tomorrow. Um, so let me pull up my agenda sheet, and then we can jump right in. So, okay, I'll put on some timestamps. Okay. And we'll probably listen to some tunes by your boy. So yeah, all glory to God for the amazing go live. So since we went live, we've launched a launch trailer. We've updated our website. We've posted on our socials, just sharing the positive news and where to download and what's new in 1.0. What we're doing today is we're going to finalize some of the launch content. Um, the final launch is out, but I want to call this complete once everything is done. And one thing that I really saw the day that we were going live, we had like a business leadership meeting at my church. And the lesson was about collaboration, teamwork, and coming together to share one new thing that we learned this week. So I hope that everyone here learned something from this call. And the whole lesson was around like how do we frame work, um, and how blessed would it be to, instead of thinking about work as a place that we are feeling entitled to put in blood, sweat, and tears, we can think about work as a place that we go to create, and we go to create in God's image, right? We're creating His image, so everything that we create is blessed if we put it and align it to His will. So yeah, I just want to encourage everyone this week to don't work this week, go and create this week. And I can't wait to hear and see. And hopefully, you guys are logging in MyPraise app. So, um, as we're discussing, so we'll look at the final launch trailer. I have a storyboard that we'll walk through a little bit. Um, Actually, thinking about doing some 3D printing to help with this launch trailer. So, yeah, it's going to be a little random, but yeah, you guys are watching me kind of build this startup from the ground up. So we're going to do things that are going to help us get to the next level. And then we're also going to try to set up our support site. One thing that we do have is we do have a feedback form. Right now it's using Notion. So it's fairly basic. And it is something that I do want to optimize. And most likely even try to remove off Notion, at least in the sense of getting it easier to access within the app and then having it go into Notion. So Notion is actually I like to call it like my business brain. If you guys haven't checked out this site yet, in essence, this was our original website. This is our whole entire original website. could probably reuse most of it. Um, it does have like our newsletter. It has a few different things as part of the newsletter. So we have our blog. Why do I even get to it? I haven't used Notion in a long time, guys. So you guys are watching it with me. But how do I get to the blog? Okay, here it is. Go here. So this shows you our newsletter. I think the blog post is actually in my in the app. So yeah, once again, this website was made way back when, and now we have a brand new website. So I have that under our blog, but I want to make something that's more accessible for support, right? Um, a way for people to just be able to instantly log some feedback. So I do have a link that says share feedback, and this opens up our share your feedback form. This is pointing to Notion. Um, so it looks nice. It's pretty basic, but it's not the best. All right, I'm gonna say Ike test test. I do have a few ideas. So this was back also when I wanted to help with more training and how to's around Salesforce. Once again, guys, if you guys have any issues or you need help with Salesforce, let me know. That's how I actually built my career. But yeah, we can actually maybe channelize this, make it a little bit more focused for MyPraise App within the app, and then maybe embed some way to do a review, right? And then you can provide your email. So let's actually check. Let's test out my support emails. MyPraise. So this right now how you get kind of the email response. That's fine. It's not the best. Let me check my email here. Okay, so I have an email. Here it is. I do have to look into that because I should be getting the Ike at mypraiseapp.com. We set up a new email domain service with Cloudflare, so we'll look into that. But okay, so that's kind of what it looks like right now. So that's one thing I want to definitely revamp, make it a lot more cohesive to MyPraise app. Um, Launch deep dive walkthrough setup. So that's what I just talked about. So as we do that, we'll kind of build out the launch trailer, and then we'll talk a bit about my content calendar if we get some time. And throughout the way, we'll look at trying to resolve some day one issues, prepare the day one patch. Or I guess at this point, day five. Then we'll look at some additional issues if we have some time as well. But yeah, in essence, now that it's out, we want to definitely focus on stabilization, and we'll get into a more rhythmic cadence of new releases, bigger fixes, bigger revamps. So, and with that being said, another great sermon that we had today at church was around Joseph. I don't know if anyone has read about Joseph, but he's known as being the triumph of faith. In essence, our message was how the storm tests everything, but by faith we can still stand. Um, so just some things I wanted to keep in mind, and hope you guys also can think about when you go through the storms. Is just trust God. Life isn't really about us. It's not about our issues. It's not about me. It's really about like when we make it through, we're actually giving that testimony to God. So it's okay to praise God when everything's okay. But the question is like, how do we praise Him when the storms hit and we go through Category 5 issues in our life, right? Um, this verse especially, like a little bit behind the story about this verse is Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then Joseph became the right hand of the Pharaoh in Egypt because of his ability to prophesy dreams or interpret dreams. Um, and he could have, you know, done retribution to his brothers, but instead he says, "As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good to save many people alive, as it's happened today." So that's a, that's an amazing story that one day we'll definitely go into. But yeah, as we kind of walk through this week, I want to keep that one in mind. It's like even though you go through some dark times, a lot of it is, or actually everything, all of it is meant for God's good and for His people to be alive. So praise God, and let's get started. So yeah, today we want to, let's see, do the final launch trailer. We have the storyboard, 3D prints, research and planning, setup site. Okay. Yeah, and you guys know these code alongs are a little bit more freeform. We wanted, so these videos that we're talking about, like the launch trailer, we wanted to be a lot more succinct. Um, so one of the things I actually did that I'm thinking about releasing as, maybe a product or a beta is MyPraise App Storyboard Studio. Now, with this, I actually was able to build out a storyboarding kind of app. In essence, you're able to uh, build out different scenes. You can compose it. So I can come here. I can add more figures. Like I can add another person. Um, I can change the scene already that's already here. I can do different effects. Um, I can save different versions. So if I wanted to go back to my version 7, which is the one that we're going to go live with, this is how we're actually going to start, and we're going to actually try to film the app, right? So the way that I'm actually thinking about it is, I love this first kind of deep dive video to be like a video game. Um, I love video games and just the way that they're able to make not just challenges interactive, but also video games are great at telling stories, right? Um, and a lot of that is even in the presentation of what the game is. So a lot of things in video games, including like trailers where they talk about like, here's a brand new game. Um, they like to follow a very succinct kind of script that I'd love to, bring as part of the app as well. So that's kind of what this storyboard is about, where it's going to start off with, kind of like a headshot of me, some B-roll. I'll talk through the items, try to talk about the story behind the app, and then some graphics as we go through the presentation. So what we'll do today, like I already kind of have this scoped out. One thing that's great about this mini app that I made is you can actually come here and you can edit everything. So I can edit the title. I can tell it how many seconds it's going to be. So if I want it to be, 25 seconds, I can see how long the app is. I want the video to be a little bit over 5 minutes. Um, so right now it's a little bit over 5. So I could cut it down by 20 seconds, or I can keep it right at this time period. But I'm going to try to keep it around 5 minutes, and then I can tag different things. I can tell it if it's going to be picture in picture or full frame shot. Um, I'm capturing what I'm going to say, capturing any kind of B-roll and any kind of private notes. So these won't be seen in the final cards or checklist. Um, all these things I didn't know what it meant until I started using Claude and try to figure out how to, visualize what I wanted to say. So that's another thing, guys, is we live in 2026, almost 2027, which is crazy. But yeah, literally the world is yours if you just think creatively and trust God with the vision, right? So yeah, so this is kind of the way that's going to be in terms of the storyboard. Um, I wanted to start as the headshots, the story behind the app, some graphics in terms of what MyPraise App is, kind of our brand definition, um, and then get into the transition of viewing the app, right? So one thing that this then when I built the original storyboard is it suggested that I do picture in picture. That's kind of what this means. But I'm thinking about actually using something like this. So this is a phone stand. That's how it kind of looks. I'm just gonna mess up my shot. I think I kind of want it to like, oh, yeah. All right, guys. Classic. But you can kind of see the phone kind of like stands on top. So you got to figure out some kind of way to film the app. Um, maybe with me kind of like looking like this and then having us like kind of look at the app that way. That's what I'm thinking. But that's one thing that, I think we're kind of going to look to do is try to figure out how to get a good shot with me filming the app while I use it. If you guys have suggestions or thoughts, definitely post it in the comments if there's anyone on the live stream. But if not, yeah, we'll figure it out. And then definitely want to show kind of the basics of MyPraise app. We want to hit these key points of, when you first open MyPraise app, I'll walk you through the app setup. Some key points about the app setup when it comes to, how you can personalize it further and how you want to pretty much give as much information as possible. Because number one, we don't even track that information. But number two, it actually makes the app a lot more interactive and it shapes the conversations and the replies a little bit more personalized. Um, and we'll talk about the new memory loop, which is about like the heart of MyPraise app is a new memory loop and all the additional key features and functionalities that we want people to use, right? And then the final payoff, which is the reflection report and your keepsake photos that you can generate with the engine. So that's kind of the hope of the video. Let me just make sure I'm looking up here. Perfect. Well, that's kind of like the storyboard that I'm thinking for the video. I want to get some 3D prints for this, so let's look into that in a second. As we look into that, I'll pull up some videos I actually want to maybe do some research on in terms of like some video games. Let's see. Let's see if there's. Let me just see what's like the latest. Let's see if there's any there like 5 minutes long. Hopefully this will be a good one.
Hello, my name is Kuba Stokalski. I'm the game co-director and design director. For Frostpunk 2.
And I'm Łukasz Juszczyk, games co-director as well as art director.
It's a very special day for us.
So that's kind of how they start, it seems. They kind of do like a.
Hello, my name is Kuba Stokalski. I'm the game co-director.
A hello. Wow. So I started doing some research on this earlier. Let me pull this up. And what I notice is like even some of the YouTubers who have released their own apps, um, they don't do as much of like an intro before, and that must be because they already have like a brand name behind them. And these folks like no one even knows what a game director is or who this other person is until they go on camera and they tell them like what they're actually building. So maybe I'll do something similar. As you can see, there's actually one of the images from the church. So this is cool. Imagine an engineer. Yeah, sorry, that's a little bit of ADHD. Yeah, we'll come back to this. So I don't like to do that. I just like to, as I plan things, it's always kind of like what we said earlier in the code alongs. It's always good to start with a flow. So we're gonna start with the flow. Well, these folks usually start with
and design director for Frostpunk 2.
And I'm Łukasz Juszczyk, games co-director as well as art director.
It's a very special day for us, because today we want to invite you to take a first deep dive into gameplay for Frostpunk 2.
And we are really excited to see your reactions.
Okay, so then they do like some B-roll.
Excited to see your reactions.
Okay. And even I wanted to capture that as like it seems like they're not just doing like the same thing. Without knowing much of what this game is, I can already tell it's like definitely a sim, like you manage cities, but also yeah.
At 11 bits.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so they do like if you don't catch it, it's easy to miss. So it's like they intro themselves, they show some gameplay, and then they do the cut to the first for the first section of the deep dive. I actually don't see a lot of the YouTubers do that, or even anyone that really shows an app. You really only see this in video game trailers, so that's kind of where I'm hopefully trying to be a little
At
bit
11-bit
different.
Studios, we don't really believe in making just a sequel.
You hear that? I don't believe in making just a sequel. Okay, then it goes kind of back to photo of themselves. All right. So these guys did kind of the same thing. So B-roll them themselves directly. B-roll, B-roll, B-roll themselves. Okay.
It never satisfied us creatively, and we don't really believe it would satisfy you. So we always wanted to build
And that's some more B-roll.
on top of the foundations that was Frostpunk 1 and create something new, something exciting.
Okay. So this one, they're showing like actual gameplay. It seems like I can see the menu above.
The big question was how to do that. By the end of the first game, you survived. the end of the world. The question then becomes, what now? We felt that creating an even bigger blizzard or making you survive even lower temperatures would not make the cut. It wouldn't be satisfying for you, and it wouldn't be satisfying for us.
I could show night mode as
It
well.
felt
That's kind of cool.
impossible to tell an epic story about society's growing ambitions without changing the scale of the game itself. In Frostpunk 2, time passes in weeks, months, and instead of building singular buildings, we oversee creation of entire city districts. During the development of previous Frostpunk, we invented the genre called society survival game. In Frostpunk 2, we continue to evolve in that direction, but with putting much greater of previous Frostpunk. Instead of building single society's growing ambitions without changing the scale of the game itself. In Frostpunk 2, time passes in weeks, months, and instead of building singular buildings, we oversee creation of.
Okay, so they talk about kind of what differentiates them at this point. The differentiators.
Entire city districts. During the development of previous Frostpunk, we invented the genre called society survival game. In Frostpunk 2, we continue to evolve in that direction, but with putting much greater emphasis on society aspect.
An automaton has broken down and is blocking traffic.
It's been 30 years since the goals to get until gone. The city is a she is. We find out.
So I think this is pretty much just showing that we're kind of going in the right direction with the storyboard.
So thank you for diving with us. Into the world of.
I think I'm good. This kind of matches the same kind of theme, same kind of storyboard feel. Not storyboard feel, but the framing. The only thing that I will need is just like maybe some keyframes that do transitions, right? So it's like boom, boom, boom. Or I could keep it high level like the normal apps. Let me see if there's any. I don't even know. Is there like any app launch trailers? Let's see. We're gonna look it up. Launch. Look at this has one. We'll just see some like basics.
Hello friends, I welcome you all to our new.
Okay, definitely not. Okay, that's pretty interesting.
You've built your app, you did all the market research, you validated the idea, and now it's time to release it. But how do you actually get people using it, especially when you're starting from scratch? In this video, I'll show you my exact process for launching a new app, how I get my first users, and how I rank my apps on the App Store to generate an endless supply of downloads on a tight budget. This is part 3 of a 3-part series where I documented my entire process while building my Swipe the Cat game. In part 1, I showed you how to come up with ideas and validate them. In part 2, I showed you how to actually build the app, the strategic decisions made at every step of the way, and how to go from idea to product. If you haven't watched them yet, I recommend doing so. This video is best viewed as part of an entire series. My app portfolio has generated $1.1 million in App Store sales from over 1.7 million downloads. If you told me just a few years ago that was even possible, I probably just wouldn't believe you, to be honest. I thought you needed to have a big team, lots of funds, and a massive marketing budget to generate any meaningful revenue. But that's just not true.
So I like those graphics. And I feel like he's doing this as part of his app launch as well. So yeah, he has a little bit more of a fun background. Kind of how I have a background here. Okay. And how's he
$0.1 million
speaking?
in App Store sales from over 1.7 million
Graphics are
downloads.
coming
If you
down.
told me just a few years ago that was even possible,
Different
I
angles.
probably just wouldn't believe you, to be honest. I thought you needed to have a big team, lots of funds, and a massive marketing budget.
This has been a big thing that I've seen. Graphics behind people, not just like words, but things popping up like this. So think about just adding some more info.
To generate any meaningful revenue. But that's just not true. And I set out to prove that by building a simple app on a tight budget within 2 weeks. Because as it turns out, it is possible to build profitable apps on your own without a team. Prompt, single, or a year's is. How do I mean? Said than done. Anything the app. And the simple answer is actually back opened up your eye research. How I pivoted pure in the as store out fastest for the project. Then a solid no fit that really got money for that app. This is the
I also really like this angle.
fast.
I've been liking these kind of angles. You can do something like that over here as well. The angle over here, and then with the camera shot, and over the thin when I'm doing my recording my hand moving. Okay. I'll take a screenshot of this. Maybe I'll do this kind of shot over here, huh? Start off with this. Boom, boom. I could actually do all the shots that are with content on the right as more of a side profile shot. Okay. There's a lot, though. So how does he do it? Okay. So you see how it's kind of like ideas.
People are searching for it, and how much competition it even has. Too many app developers have an idea, build it, release it onto the App Store, and then try to reverse engineer keywords to fit their target market, only to find out nobody's even searching for it. Nobody's even looking for that app. This is the fastest way to fail. A solid App Store optimization strategy starts from the beginning of the project. Then no matter what type of marketing plan you have, whether it's paid ads, social media influencing, or user-generated content, you can always fall back on strong positioning on the App Store. To rank well on the App Store, you need these 3 ingredients. Good keyword optimization, plenty of review, 45 optimized. It will be the key into the add one words you word twice in the title, effectiveness in the app. The exact add your plus game. Whenever I influence App Store fit petition and even only to find out nobody's developed a technical opened up as elusive than use him, and you needed experience for a huge app on have a big team, 1.7 million downloads, massive marketing budget to generate any meaningful revenue. But that's just not true. And I set out to prove that by building a simple app on a tight budget within
You see
2
those kind of
weeks.
shots where it like
Because
starts
as
out
it
and then
turns
goes
out,
in. That's
it
kind of like
is
what this
possible
is.
to build profitable apps on your own without a team and without a huge marketing budget. Best of all, I believe everyone can do it. You just need to know how. In an age where apps can be generated with AI from a single prompt, the limitation is no longer technical. You don't even need to write a single line of code to run a successful software business. And think about that just for a moment. Create a software product you would have had to spend weeks, months.
Okay, this is a good video in terms of some of these transitions that I'm trying to look at. So what I ideally would love to do is I want to even just try to create one. Like I've heard that you could use Claude to to okay, my camera is now tracking me. I've heard that you can use Claude to be able to create animation on top of video. So I'm going to try to do that. You gotta watch me try and fail. Hopefully not, but let's see if I can actually use Photo Booth. This is a test to see if Cloud Design can add animation over my video. Hopefully we'll see it be successful, and we'll check it out in a couple seconds. So I saw this video on YouTube earlier. I'll watch it again. History. Okay. Yeah, what I'm looking for is, I want to say Cloud Design Animation. I feel like YouTube's history searching is just terrible. So this is,
Took less than 10 minutes to make. No After Effects,
I like this.
no keyframes, and no editor. With only one tool called Claude Design. And that's not even the crazy part. It can take real footage, like this clip right here, and layer motion design directly on top of it, sync to every single word. Now, you've probably heard people say Claude Design is amazing, and they're right, it is. But nobody shows you this side of it. Every single video out there is the same. Here's a website, here's a presentation deck. Now, that's great, but every single time you're left with one question that nobody can ever seem to answer. How does this make me money? And how does this actually help me? So in this video, I'm gonna show you step by step how to create stunning, professional looking motion design videos in literally minutes, all inside of Claude. And then I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to turn those videos into actual money with the exact.
So we'll definitely share this video. I don't know about the whole money part, but in terms of the animation, definitely this was a helpful video. I actually used it to redesign our logos animation. So what you see in our final launch trailer is we have a new animation for just the logo. I think they call it the sting shot. A lot of things that you learn as you kind of just play around with AI and you try to build out your dreams, right? But yeah, it's called like a sting shot. I can open it and I'll show you. Okay, it looks like Claude is done. Okay, well, that's going to change what we'll talk about today. And let's see. Yeah, Claude is down. Then we'll switch to the next. Then we'll look at the support site next. Yeah, it looks like it is down. Okay. Yeah, guys, there's another reason why it's probably time to start looking at local LLMs. More to come on that. I won't talk too much, but just know that we are there's things you can do right now if you have a Mac where you can download your own local LLM and you won't have this issue. Um, but yeah, you can also just diversify your AI providers, which is what we've done. So I think what we'll do in the meantime though is I'm gonna go back to my planner. Ideally, I want to spend time on the trailer because tomorrow I want to record, but we can do something else. We'll still look at 3D prints. I did the research and planning. We'll do a support site. All right. Feedback forum, launch deep dive walkthrough, content calendar. Okay. Let's see if Claude is back. Nope. All right. All good. So I'll come back to this video then. We'll go look at like app support. Sorry. You guys have seen I have a new floodlight. This just died. Okay. Looks like the floodlight's done. Okay. Camera quality is not terrible.
Today, I'm showing you how to contact Chase support, whether it's through online banking or if you have no access. So if you do have access currently, hit the three dots over here. Then you're going to find your way over to help and support. And here you got all of these options. It is entirely up to you which one you select. But if you want an actual human to talk to or a robot to schedule you a meeting, you can do any of these options. I prefer the call us, super simple, super awesome. But let's say it is a situation where they can't really help you out online. You can always schedule a meeting or just send them a message. All of these work. I recommend the calling and scheduling though.
Okay, so this person just pointing out that there's a bunch of links. Let me open up MyPraise App actually. We'll do this side by side. So it's reflection memory makers not in scope. So I don't think I made any changes recently. Okay, let's try another video on.
Today, I'm showing you how to contact.
From getting quick answers to learning about a new feature, the Apple Support app is like having a personal guide to help you with all your Apple products and services. The Apple Support app is free in the App Store, and it uses your Apple account, so it's automatically personalized for you. It's a convenient place to ask questions, quickly find solutions, locate service and repair providers, and so much more. Have questions about your iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch, or any of your other devices? It's easy to focus on support topics that relate to your device. Support tools can help you with common tasks like
I kind
viewing
of
your
like that. Like, we're not gonna have all this.
phone,
We're just getting some inspo, but I
and
do like
so
how it
much
has
more.
like basic
Have questions
FAQs.
about your iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch, or any of your other devices? It's easy to focus on support topics that relate to your device.
Okay, so it's like device-based support.
Support tools can help you with common
We don't have all that, but maybe something similar where we can have
Plus
like
and where to
a support page on the app that just has like a lot of easy how to. Let me actually pull this up. Okay, what is this? Reflection, memory, making, scope. Okay, looks like there's some kind of change that may have happened recently. What could have happened? Okay. Yeah, I'm very curious as to why that happened. I don't see any changes in the branch. Reflection memory batch. Why was this removed from the P list? Or project PBX? Didn't move. Okay. Reflection memory badge. Reflection memory badge. Why was this removed? Okay. All right, it's now added again. It seems very bizarre. Okay. Only reflection memory badge is both missing from the project and actually used. Adding it to the app now. Okay. So maybe the file IDs changed. I don't know. That was bizarre. Hmm. Yeah, I do remember these ones. If anything, we should actually probably depreciate these. Photo hash service and crazy export importer. Way back when. We'll do a retro one day. But let's see. It says I need to close and open again. Let's see if this now turned on. Yeah, this is coming back. In the meantime, let's continue doing some research on support. All right. Very fun. All right. Let me just say like contact us. Contact us page. Let's also just check like Swift UI. I like to do this as well, like just get a basic understanding on the technical aspects of the code. You can go ahead and just
As you can
put
see,
them as
this
you
is
want. But like if you really understand the basics behind, then it just helps your prompt and just how you go about enabling this and building out your loops and everything else.
App with Swift UI and Swift data. Learn how to add search and pagination for a modern, scalable contact manager. Perfect for beginners to create or view or contact to navigate. You can see, update that later.
I don't necessarily
How can I make a contact
like directly in the app per se. It should be going off the app because once again, I don't want the
errors or
app to like
crashes?
capture information or track per se. Yeah, these all look like they're forms within the app.
UI that will open the default mail app in my user's phone and have my email address in the to section of a new draft. So to do my user, how can I make a contact us button in Swift UI that will open the default mail app in my user's phone and have my email address in the to section of a new draft. So to do this, all I have to do is first have my email in the form of a string and then use an if let statement that does two things. The first thing is it'll make an email link, which basically just makes my email into a URL. And we can use that with UI application.shared.can open link to make sure that that link can actually be opened, because otherwise we don't want to just go ahead and try and open it because we don't want any errors or crashes in our app. And so if both of those conditions are met, we will that we can
So long story short, it seems like it's pretty
a
straightforward.
way to contact me. Happy coding.
The agent should be able to build that pretty simple. Let's see if there's anything else that's like interesting or unique. Let's watch this guy.
how our contact us page looks right now, and our visitors basically they don't even have possibility to contact us, so we should do some changes to it. So first of all, let's go to our dashboard, and we could use WordPress forms to create our contact us form, but instead I would recommend you to go to plugins and click add new. We will add another plugin for our forms, and all you have to do is search for Ninja Forms. So just install this plugin and activate it. So once you have activated this plugin, we don't need WordPress forms anymore. So we could go here and deactivate it, and we can delete it as well. All right, so now we can go to our Ninja Forms, click on dashboard, and as you can see, we have contact me form already created for us. So all we have to do right now is just do some changes to this form. So click right here and click edit. As you can see, this is how our form is going to look. But first of all, we should do some changes, and we should hide this title of our form. So to do this, go right here in advanced section, click display settings, and disable display form title. So once you have done this, just click done and hit publish. Let's go back to our dashboard, and all you have to do right now is just copy this code, copy, and let's go to our pages. Let's see all pages, and right here we should select contact us, and let's click edit. And once you're here, all you have to do is just paste that code which we copied previously, and we can preview our contact us form. And as you can see, this is how our contact us form is going to look. So even we can the phone element, add some, we could phone number again. And as you can see, this is how it's.
Okay, so kind of contact us. I can see this basic form is just like a form, some recent posts, recent comments, categories. I mean, if anything, I could have maybe like the blog that's like next to it, or it can still just be kind of simple because we do have the easy form, and then we have like the web page that we kind of want to enrich. So let's see what else is there. I'm not finding anything that's really useful on YouTube. So at this point, this is when I'm going to switch to Mobbin. As always, guys, you always got to start with Mobbin, or in your early research, you want to check Mobbin. It gives you great UI and great examples to look from. Okay, so this is kind of how they do it in Mobbin, or they have a bunch of different app samples. Like PayPal has a screen that says, "How can we help you? Just need a quick answer." Okay. It kind of goes towards the bot route. So we do have that functionality in the bot. So maybe in the future we can do something where the MyPraise assistant is more integrated into the support process. So I definitely like that as a potential future idea. Well, let me take a note on that. I'll copy PNG, put it into my Obsidian, and just keep track for later. Kind of like this. This is nice. Support, email support, restore purchases, copy support token. That could be good. Yeah, someone reached out to me and say they didn't give an email, or they just sent it directly from the phone. Okay. I could even just directly write to the assistant with this. So maybe I actually do like this. Let me copy this. This one I will add to the form because I feel like we're going to eventually expand it. So like you have a support page. That'll actually help clean up a lot of the clutter that's on the menu right now. Okay. I mean, these are all kind of the same after you scroll through a few. This is nice. I like this one. This is nice and easy. Copy PNG. So it could be like, reach out to support. You click that, and then that can show email, open up this form, or some quick actions, which could be like check the assistant. Could have a few other things, FAQ website or end-to-end walkthrough. Okay. Kind of like that. See what else do people have. I like this. I always like having like a big hero, big screenshot that just makes people calm when they first get it. Okay, so I think we have our samples. So like functionally this kind of page, but with a hero that has maybe the rolling screenshots from our website. And then with just an that says email or ask the agent. I could also make it just simple like this. Yeah, because this is a little confusing. Okay, I think we'll keep it simple. Okay, we're going crazy. Okay, lights are back. Lights, camera, action. Okay, looks like can I charge and use this on something? Looks like I can. All right, so as this is starting, let's see if Claude is back. Okay, looks like Claude is back. Perfect. So one thing I'm also looking to do is, so this is one of the things that we're able to actually create with the cloud design is we created this animation for the logo. This would be a great animation to add to the launch screen of MyPraise app. So one thing we're going to try to do is actually export this and use this in our official launch when you open up the app. So let me find. Okay, so I have a few scripts. This is our official script here. This cursive. Or this is the one that I want. Right now, this is called the Lectory one. This is our original official one, so now we need to update it to this. We'll do that offline, but we'll stick with this. That's kind of the launch screen. I can also change the background here. So these are all things that one day we may make little mini apps, mini products for. If you're interested, drop a comment. Let's see. With different colors. You know, it would be cool if I could use the background of someone's app. Well, let's see. Let me ask Claude just this simple question. I would like to use the app to draw. So what we're actually asking is we're going to ask it if it's possible to use just this as part of the splash screen login for the iOS app. So we'll see. Let's ask Fable and we'll find out in a little bit. So as this is working, this is ready. This is ready to unlock. Okay. Then let me also get it on the simulator so you guys can watch what I'm doing. this is going now. Let's see what Fable said. Yes, with one iOS caveat. Okay. Yep, that's one thing is that we made sure everything was SVGs, just to make sure it was going to be compatible across. Okay, yes. Provide handoff package to I don't know if that's my. I don't know if that's my laptop. That sounds like a jet engine is going off. Yeah, that was bizarre. Okay. All right, as this launches, let's go back to what we were doing earlier. So start getting up the feedback form. Not the form, but the form. We talked about the launch deep dive video, kind of aligned there. We'll talk about the content calendar probably at the end, and then we'll start packaging up some of the day one fixes. One thing I'll show is how I kind of track the changes using, once again, Cloud and Cursor. So let's see. So in the meantime, we're going to do the package. Let's go to MyPraiseApp.com. We'll do it on this here. Okay. So now you have your blog, you have how to use, you have the how-to guide, which is actually a pretty good guide in terms of the features that are part of MyPraise app. If you haven't used this yet, I would actually say this is like the first place to go. So maybe that's what we have as part of the initial launch is, let's see if you can see my screen now. Okay, perfect. So you can kind of see that already. If I was to open up the settings menu, first we have the button available at the top. This actually brings up that support, share your feedback form. So maybe instead what we can do is we can make this button a little bit more prevalent, because this button also then brings up the end-to-end guide. So what I just walked through. So yeah, maybe we can make this a little bit more prevalent, a little bit more succinct, easier to find, easier to use. It's in your settings right now, but where else could we possibly have it? All right. Enjoy MyPraise app. Okay, these are some nice pop-ups. I mean, I could always just put it at the bottom here as a menu option. So it says profile, contacts, gallery, memories, Bible, settings, and maybe help and support, right? Or help and how to. I'm going to do that. Help and FAQ. The app is fairly an app that has a learning curve. We could do help and FAQ. So it's like Bible, settings, help and FAQ. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's do something like that, right? Let's see. This is still extracting, so it'll take a little bit longer. So that's like on the app. Now on the website, though, you have the main site, you have the blog. I guess what we really are more curious about is getting the app to be better, but then how do we also make this a little bit better on the actual page? Do we need to do something new? That's the real question. Let's see. Sure. So let's do share feedback. If I was to just, yeah, never mind. I was thinking maybe I could just put this under my subdomain, but I just don't think it looks nice. All right, let me ask Codex. Share feedback form page with questions on my existing page for MyPraise app. And what I've been liking to do is I like to ideate now these days with paper. So we talked about it a couple of weeks back around some of the new ways that we're trying to just get a little bit more consistent. And one of the ways is by doing our designs on paper before we actually put it into production, even in testing. This is like basics, especially when you're in software design. But yeah, as you're kind of a solo entrepreneur, you do what you can, right? But there's one thing that we're going to do a lot more consistency on is just building out the consistent brand definition. So let's see. So this is the how-to guide. Okay. So what I wanted to do is I kind of just wanted to pick the style guide from here. And these are my icon guides. Okay. Maybe it's going to look more like the pricing page. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. So I like to ideate on a share feedback form with questions from my existing page for MyPraise app. Referring to and you always got to add the sauce, especially when you give AI like open-ended requests like this. What I find is I like to add just like one qualifier that says "ask me questions," right? Especially like ask me questions to confirm the scope and expectations, and I want to make sure that the AI understands it. So. I'm gonna make this medium. Okay, how is it gonna start ideating? Let's see what Claude did. Okay, so give me a handoff. And give me the download. And here's the best part, guys. These are all nuggets. We're gonna go to MyPraise app and I'm gonna say implement updates to enable the splash screen to have an animated logo. All right. Go on plan mode, because plan mode then gives you the questions. I should have actually done that on Codex, so we'll see what Codex does, but you usually always want to start with the plan mode. Okay. And then with this one, ask me questions, make sure that you understand the scope. Okay, as this is moving, let's see. So this didn't ask me the questions the way I like. I say go on plan mode. I'm going to just say, ask me the questions. Ask me questions and plan mode. And that way, is then actually going to bring up the pop-up. You don't have to reply one by one. Usually, I find that's what happens. Let's see if there's any more inspo. This one kind of has a CT at the bottom, so it has the FAQ at the top. Okay. So we got to do something like that, right? Where it's like the subsite or the subpage in MyPraise app. Take a screenshot of this. So like, yes, support. We're here to help you. Here's this is this. This is where I really want to think about even emotional and mental health support. Like the app is not going to be able to support or at least solve people's challenges there. But I feel like this is an opportunity to really hopefully help people find the support that they need. So that's something that we'll look into in the future. But just for now, how can we make it more engaging? So it's we have the support then. We have the email support directly, or you can go to FAQ. And then from FAQ, you'll have email us at the bottom, and it'll take you to this form as well. All right. So actually, we can do something like that. So I always like to start with the flow. Remember. And then I'll take this. These are my existing arrows, actually. Yeah. Put these down on the side. What we're showing here is a process flow, right? Of saying, how do we go from A to Z? So in the end, we want everyone to get to this page if they actually need to reach out and send an email. If not, we want them to go from here to here, and then maybe even this answer your question kind of an issue, right? Because it could be like boom, 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 boom. How do we do? Okay. Because that's exactly how I want to feedback the feedback form, right? The feedback form, which can say okay, email, leave feedback, email, leave feedback. I mean, we have two forms. So it's you come from the support, email us for help, leave feedback. There's the email us for help. Let me actually not say leave feedback. This is perfect. Something like this. Yeah, this may take this design from what we're going to accomplish today to what we're going to have in the future. But let's see. Well, at least get started. Let's see. Where do I want this one to live? I wonder we'll do a course on like how to do proper storyboarding, especially when it comes to process flows. One of the things I learned in Deloitte and consulting is how to really make these tell the right story without becoming like overly complex. You don't want your process flow to in essence become an app. That's what I always tell the people I would work with. Okay, so you got this is this. This is if you say you're enjoying, boom, we're done. Or you can go to this, which is going to say you need help, boom, there you go. And then you go to this, which can say, did we answer your question? Yes, no. Yes. How would you rate the app? How would you rate the support? Something like this. I don't know why this is going crazy. If we didn't support or if we didn't answer your question, then that's when you then go to this, which is the reach out, right? So this is kind of like the whole feedback loop. And eventually we do want, so how do these even get sent to the Apple Store? Do they get sent to the Apple Store? Let me see. Rate us 5 stars. Okay, so I'm sure that if they say rate us 5 stars, it takes them to the Apple Store then. Got it. This one's more talking about their experience, so less about the app. Okay. I do the happy face and sad faces, but I always felt like that's kind of like a little tacky and just you're always going to do like a sad face. And this app, we don't want to make it like necessarily connotated with sadness. We'll just kind of keep it simple. So something like this. And from there, ideally, what we'll then do is we'll have this become integrated with our Notion site, which I can then review. And if it's a defect, we'll log it as a bug and fix it. Or if it's a something I just need to reach out to the customer on, I'll reach out to the customer. But that's kind of what I'm thinking the loop will be, right? So it's like the support page, FAQ, how do we do? If we did well, please rate and support. If we didn't, please reach out. or just directly reach out. Once you reach out, it sets up a email in my Notion database for feedback. All right. So okay. So this would be like the eventual site, most likely. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, so what was I doing earlier? Earlier, I wanted to create a site though. So we'll first focus on just the website. So it says, which experience should the paper ideation work? Okay. I'll say responsive. Yep, should be responsive. Refine and preserve. Go with 2 directions. I don't think we need to boil the ocean here when it comes to a feedback form. So let me go back to my planner. So this is what we're going to work on here. All right. Now when it comes to day 1 patches, one thing that I like to do is, if you kind of see my branch, let me pull up my Xcode. You see there's been about 1, 2, 3, 4 updates since I've gone live. So in essence, I want to capture all these changes. And the way that I do it is I kind of make it easy myself. I ask Claude to kind of summarize my hub deployments, and whenever I commit to the database, or whenever I commit to the branch. So what I'll do is actually, let me see what's going on here. Okay, I'll say 1 is A. 2 is how should it interact with the loading screen? Okay, A. Play animation by hold on finish lockup. I'll say 2 is B actually. So it doesn't like cause any new regression issues. I'm gonna say no regression issues and still keep the loading bar at the bottom. That's one thing that I know. It's just easy for the code to just get overridden. So yeah, always good to keep that in mind when you're making these kind of changes, even small little things. If you notice that small little thing that you've seen in the past and you've worked with the AI before, just keep that in mind and try to overcome that. The launch screen storyboard. Confirm we changed the launch screen from brand teal to flat clay. Let's see. Confirm we changed the system launch screen from kind of like the teal. So let's see. Is it possible to just keep the logo on top of the teal? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, before this even goes, let's just start getting everything checked in and committed to Git. And that way, we'll have this ready to summarize and provide the day 1 recap summary. And we'll also then be able to freely just work on this thing without worrying about any kind of regression issues. Okay, so I got this going. Yeah, we didn't get to this today as almost expected. The feedback form, let's see what this is looking like now. We'll go to paper. Let's see where the agent's working. Okay, the agent still has some questions. How much of the feedback journey should the direction show? Okay. Complete journey. I'll say just the name on this one. New page, same file. Yep. Okay. So I don't know what these little elements are. And these and push to branch. All right. So what it's saying is that it'll replace a static great mark plus word mark in the splash view with the handoffs, time-driven draw reveal, icon stroke, bloom, fine scripture, right on, tagline, while preserving per style backgrounds. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely see how that looks in a second. And first, I want to make sure that this is making progress. Let's do 5-point scale. Yep, I like that. Okay. Okay, now it's deployed. Perfect. Now what we can do is let's check my automations. So I pretty much have an automation that does three things. It summarizes the new features being deployed, provides highlights on new screens, and then summarizes any kind of defects that I've resolved as part of the push to Git. Right. So it's looking at my branch. It's looking to see if any changes have been made. This is the last time that it ran. It looked like it tried to run recently, but it failed. So let's see what happened here. Okay, so it says too many concurrent runs. So let's see if it's going to do it again. Okay. So it's not, so I'll do it manually, but that's actually good. It did try to run today. Didn't end up getting a chance to. We can kind of see the last time I ran it was on the 12th, which is when we went live. So ever since, we've actually had a few updates since. So you guys are going to hopefully get a few day one patches to resolve some issues. And we'll go over some of the change log items in a second once this is done. In the meantime, let's find out where this is making the changes. Yeah, which contrast should the concept explore? Okay. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Let's say all of them. 1, 2, 3. So one thing I love about AI is like, how much work do you want me to do? I want you to do all the work. Okay. Yeah, definitely should be concise. I can't actually really read what those things are saying. My camera's in the front, but it looks like it's good. Okay, so this is running still. Well, let's see, animated lockup. So this is ready. Let's build locally. What you guys see is like now I've made those changes and I've deployed everything I've committed to get and pushed it to the branch. You don't see the changes any longer. So any change that I make on here, I can go back and I can just delete the file, or I can revert the change and it's not going to affect what's gone live. So that's how I like to keep track of my CI/CD process. Fairly simple, but yeah, it can get way more complex. And we'll hopefully get there one day. Right now, I can manage it. How should the 3 studies be presented on paper? Okay. Keep it simple, at least for the beginning. Okay, so now let's see. So if we go back to our plan, 3D prints, let's do some 3D printing, y'all. We got to do something as the AI is cooking. So what I'm going to try to do, so this is actually what I printed. I'll add this as part recap from today that we'll send out. If you guys have a 3D printer, Maker World is key. I'm sure you already know of it. Let's see. There was one thing that I really wanted when it comes to our recording tomorrow. We wanted to actually start looking at building out more of a studio. So, yeah, excuse me. This is all like random things that I found last night. Some things for my cat. But let's see. Let's not get distracted, right? Let's stick to what we're trying to look for. So these are some tripod stands. I may or may not get it. This is what I showed you just now. I'm really curious about these DJI mic stands. So I want to get these as well. This is nice, a Gridfinity container for it. Let's see. Kind of like this. You guys may find this tomorrow. Maybe sitting right under here, actually. Okay. Like that. And then I could even use this as like an adjustable video stand for the camera. It's getting kind of dark in here. Let me turn on the light. And it's like a little phone desk coder. I like this one. Simple. Nothing too fancy. Kind of like that a lot, actually. You can hold it up on the top. Okay. And just go a little mic stand. Okay. So I think I know what I want. I definitely want to print this, but I want to print this in something nice. not just standard PLA. Well, what I'll do is I'll print this guy. Maybe I'll print this. It's like a little handheld mic for your DJI. This little guy right here. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like this. I'll print this guy as well. And we just gotta kind of find things to do as the code is cooking. I did hear the code finish just now on one of them, so we'll check to see how that's going. You just get everything onto here, and then I'll slice my plate. It'll take me 2 hours and 15 seconds or 15 minutes. So I also like to do on these kind of channels, guys. You guys can also see kind of how I work. Never get too intimidated about how much work you actually have to do. If you just stack things right, you'll find out that by the end of the night, you'll be done. So like targets to finish everything by 7:30. So we got the support site, feedback form almost ready, launch deep dive video. We talked about this one, so I think I'm good on this. Content calendar. Okay. Before I do that, let's see what Codex is looking at. Okay, want this plan. Okay, cursor made some changes. Let's check it out. Okay, it says splash lockup can't be found. Usually when that happens, you just want to close and reopen. I'm sure there's a way we can automate that, so we'll figure out that in the future. But yeah, it's one drawback of just app development is just how many times you have to like recache all the files. So it's gonna take a couple seconds. So as this is going, content calendar. So another product that I'm thinking about releasing one day is I call it my attention today dashboard. And over here, what I have is kind of my launch calendar. So this is like my HQ for everything for the business. When it comes to my launch strategy, when it comes to different copies that I use for long form, short form blurbs, I pretty much documented and planned out the launch week. Everything then gets synced with Notion, and you're able to kind of do and keep everything in sync. And then you just use AI to just push things in different buckets as you make updates. But one thing that we're going to start doing is publishing something like this. This is called the content calendar. So you can kind of see, like last week, we focused on, the code along. Every Sunday, we want to do like a code along. So we'll try to keep that going for the next, foreseeable future, where we'll do like a Sunday code along, just vibe, come hang out, watch me just ramble and do random things as we kind of continue to push more and more with the app and with the business. And then usually Monday, I try to do like some kind of content drop, some kind of email or some kind of LinkedIn post. Tuesday is when I try to either do some kind of push to the App Store or submit like a big release to the App Store for review. Wednesday is when I try to do like more corporate level, set up. Like I've been trying to set up my private bank accounts, everything else for the business. Thursday is when I'm going to try to do like a big app content push, either like another article or another video. And then Friday is when I try to do like a big release, right? So that's kind of how it's been going. And that's kind of where I'm thinking we'll go in the future as well. So really what we're starting to think of is like the next major piece of content we want to drop is we talked about the launch video, right? That's kind of like the first thing we'll focus on next week. Is it's not really how I built it. This was like an old title that I had. We'll do a video one day on how I built it, but I think the first thing we'll do is more like that deep dive, right? So Monday we'll do a deep dive, right? Deep dive intro to on Monday we'll do like a deep dive. That's when I'm going to say we're done, and then eventually one day, guys, I'll have to kind of put those notes and the live artifacts that we discussed into this kind of format. So bear with me as we kind of just get everything systemized and channelized. So yeah, we'll kind of get that done there. We'll actually do this on Wednesday because I have an event tomorrow where we'll be going to play some golf with my church. So it's gonna be fun. And then Tuesday we'll start planning for the next quarter long. Tuesday we'll also look at dropping the day one patch. So let me actually log that as part of Tuesday. Drop day one patch to Apple. Actually, what I'll say is submit. I might have something for code review. There it is. So we'll submit day one patch to Apple. We'll probably do like a content drop on Thursday. And this is going to be the use case Wednesday. Friday we'll release the first patch to MyPraise app for pretty much the day one patch. What else? So I think that's kind of like the content calendar going forward. Soon we're going to start thinking about ways we're going to actually do like even more on the ground marketing. But right now it's kind of just getting things slowly built up, slowly in the cadence. You've been seeing me do these videos every week. That's part of just getting practice and making it soon like muscle memory. So let me go back to my tracker. Content calendar has been discussed. Day one patches. Let's see. Okay, so this is what shipped. In essence, animated splash lockup. Okay, no, that's not it. This is it. That's not it. Actually, automation. This is it. So what's been fixed? MyPraise App Build 32 for iPhone, iPad, and iOS. So you're going to see some Fair Harbor discussions in here, but one day we may have a Vision OS version of the app ready to go. So yeah, we added some fine signature brand wordmark, new MyPraise app logo, CTA asset kit, perfect. Reflection workshop, keepsake polish. So now we've made it a little bit more succinct, which is your deliverables when we think about like what do you get out of MyPraise app. Canvas legibility and improvements, so it's easier to see. What you guys will see today is like you go on the Bible, you highlight it, you may not see buttons at the bottom. That's because the canvas is not really legible. We're going to fix that. So splash screen and onboarding now uses the fine signature. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so pretty much we just focused on making things legible, making things easier to read, and making the user experience a lot more cohesive. We fixed some bugs over here. Perfect. Yeah. And I think this is even like good enough to submit to Apple. So I'll think about that. Maybe we can get this into your hands by Wednesday and we'll adjust the content calendar. But Yeah, that's kind of it there. Come back over here. We'll end on the feedback form, guys. So where is my feedback form? Oh, perfect. So here's a few examples. It looks like it's still kind of coding away. Kind of like this. Help shape what MyPraise app becomes next. Okay. This is actually very nice. This is also pretty nice too. This one's a little bit like stale, not stale, cold. A little gimmicky. I kind of like this one the most. Um, okay. Kind of like number one, guys. One day we'll find a way to kind of get these streams to be a little bit more interactive. Maybe we'll do some live polls and see what people like the most, 1, 2, or 3. I want to make the executive decision and kind of say 1 to begin with, but yeah, we'll get this implemented over the weekend. You guys will probably see this get deployed live on our site very soon. What else do we have to discuss today? We talked about the day 1 patches, so that's good there. Talked about setting up the support site. What's next is to actually set up the support site. All right. Excuse me. Let's see. Tomorrow we'll do the recording for the launch content. And hopefully by the end of the week, once everything's all said and done, we'll be able to officially call MyPraise App 1.0 officially, fully, totally, completely launched. And then it's just making sure that we're there to support you, making sure that we're there to hear you and build more features that hopefully you guys will love. And then just continue to collaborate, work together, come together as a unified body in Christ, right? So, as I was saying earlier today, as I learned earlier this week as well, don't go to work this week, guys. Go and create and go and deliver the glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Hope everyone has a blessed week. Thank you for joining. See you, everyone.